Hey all, welcome back to Howieverse. I'm Dr. Howie. I'm a principal AI engineer. I treat investing like engineering, which means everything we do here is data driven. In this video, I will share the reasons why I sold all of my AMD stock. I will tell you first the reason why I bought AMD in the first place. Second, when did I sell the stock and at what price? And thirdly, why did I sell it all? Let's get to it. All right, so here are all the purchases that I bought for AMD stock. And if you look down here, April 19th, 2024 was the first purchase of AMD stock, and I bought it all the way through April 4th, 2025. That was my last purchase. And if you look at the cost basis per share, the first time I bought it is at $146.50 roughly, and I added to my position at $151, right? And after that, the stock just go downhill from there, and I bought the stock again at $122 over here in around December and January. And then on February, the stock tanks again. So I bought it at around $110. And on March, it goes down again. I rebought it at $103. And my last purchase is actually at $87. I didn't time it to the lowest of the lowest or at the very bottom of the purchase. However, this is pretty close to the bottom, which I'm going to show you in the technical analysis. How did I came about to buy at $87, which is pretty close to the bottom. So that was the last time I bought AMD, and I actually sold it recently on November 4th, 2025, and I sold it at $248.39. So I bought it pretty low in the cost basis, where I think on April 4th, my last purchase here, I bought a lot at $87. So I believe my cost basis was around $103 or somewhere in this region, right? So and I sell the stock at $248.39. So it was a pretty nice profit. I think it's around 100% plus. Here is the AMD chart, and if you see here, I have my first buy here on April 19, 2024. And at the time, the price action was pretty good. The high here is 154, and at the lowest price here is $145. And I believe my purchase price was at $146. So I bought it towards the lowest end of this candle over here. And at the time, I thought that the fundamental was really good. So what I did is that I did the fundamental analysis on the AMD. It was a growth stock. It has a really great pack ratio, and the growth for the AMD was really great. So I wanted to enter the stock. However, I just looked at the price point where the fundamental analysis that I did was reasonable, and I it really close to this zero point 0.5 line. So I decided to start my position on April 19, 2024, where the price is really close to this zero point 0.5 line right here, right at $143. So I bought it at $146. That $3 difference doesn't really matter much. And if I've waited for a few days, it would actually kiss this line and it pierces through. However, we would never know that, right? So just really close to the line. And the reason I didn't buy this stock because of the technical analysis. I bought this stock because of the fundamental analysis, right? The fundamental analysis was good, and the technical analysis is just for me to enter the position with a better pricing. So that's all to it. And the technical analysis is essentially telling me at the time, hey, it's really close to the zero point 0.5 line, and it's usually bounce, right? And if we see that, yeah, it touches that line and it bounced to almost close to this line. I think this line is, yeah, 786 line. So it kind of bounced to that point and it didn't really touches it. Mind you, because of the fundamental analysis that I did, I buy this stock for a long-term gain. So I didn't actually see the price action and just swing trade for a several months and then gain the profit and exit here. I didn't actually want to exit. I want to accumulate um, my position. So I bought the stock again like around over here because I thought that it's going to bounce, right? So on May, and my the next purchase was on August. So August was around right here, August 22nd. August 22nd. So around right here, I repurchased the stock. So I was like, oh yeah, the bounce is over, and around right here is actually it goes through here, right? So it touches this point and then it bounce again. So I thought it's going to go back to this line. So that's why I bought here. And lo and behold, I actually bought into the stock that has a downtrending. Uh, so essentially, what I did here is once it touches this point, I saw there's a really nice parallel. So I draw this parallel line here, right? And this parallel line actually works out really great. And the thing is that once I got to here, and then I was just going at I was just observing the downsloping trend line, and I has been adding the stock ever since due to this downsloping trend line. I was thinking that it's going to bounce eventually, and my last purchase here was actually I was trying to time where it's going to get to the lowest of the lowest point, but sometimes it just didn't happen, right? For example, like right here, it just didn't happen, go to the lowest point. So I was like, yeah, this is low enough at $87. So I just bought it at that point and I accumulate a lot of share over here. And that was actually my last purchase. And after that it's just history, right? So it goes up all the way here, and then and then after that, with the open AI partnership with AMD, it bounced even more all the way to the all-time high at around $267. And lastly, I sold the stock near all-time high at $247, right? And that's all to it. Essentially, for this thing is that I told you the reason why I bought AMD stock in the first place because was the fundamental was good, and I saw the technical analysis was really good for the pricing, so I entered the position. After I entered the position, I realized that this is a downsloping trend line, which means the stock is falling, and it was actually falling at the right price. And essentially, when I trace all the way with this downsloping trendline parallel that I time not exactly, but really close to the price that I wanted it to be, due to this technical analysis. And essentially, I sold it in November 4th, recently, 2025, and at $248. And the reason why I sell this stock at $248 is because that I was thinking that the fundamental is still there. However, it has reached my target point for the next 3 years. So I was thinking that I was not going to sell this stock until 2027, right? The and then it already touches my sell point or my price target at 2027. So I just sold it here. And first I thought that, hey, there is a better stock out there that I want to buy a lot more, and I'm going to tell you what that stock is. However, I was thinking that with this one, I would just sell it and then take my position elsewhere, which I think has a better momentum or have a better have a better upside for my other stock that I'm going to mention in the next leg. Nevertheless, the second point why I sold the stock is that this one is artificial. So the jump of from here to here essentially is based on the speculation that the OpenAI partnership with the AMD partnership is going to work out well. So from I get it, like from here all the way to here, the gain over here is kind of natural progression. However, the gain from here all the way to here, it was I felt like it was a bit just the hype of the news is not really the fundamental, and I would just sell on the hype because it's going to crash back down, and it has been crashing since I last sold it, right? And the current price is at $215, right? Was at 215 $212. However, let's redo the technical analysis here, take the retracement here, and let's rewatch over here, right? So basically what happened here, it pierces through the 786, was it 786 line? Yeah, 786 line, the blue line right here. It pierced through here, and I bet it's going to retrace back to this $222, and then it's going to go lower. So I think my decision selling here is a good choice because I believe it's going to go down lower at around $160. If it does, I'm going to repurchase the stock at this zero point 0.5 line again. I don't know. If I repurchase the stock at this zero point 0.5 line again, and this downsloping trend line happens again, that's why technical analysis is really important. It just show you where the price action is. The first thing you must do, you must check if the fundamental is good. Then the technical analysis is just something that you use to get a better pricing point, right? So you're not guessing where the stock is going to go, and you're not guessing where you're gonna buy. So the reason why I was able to buy the stock heavy here at $87, and then it bounced a lot on this because of the technical analysis as I show you here, right? Real quick before you go, the reason why I sold AMD stocks so that I can reallocate the fund into another stock, and that other stock is Meta. So if you look at Meta, I think at this point the valuation is really cheap right now. The PE is at 21. At the time I bought it was like around here where the PE touches like 19 to 20. And I thought that for the AMD, I am just going to reallocate my fund into Meta, where it has dropped from $751 all the way to the low here, $589. So I think it was a great decision if I just take the AMD profit and then reallocate it here, which I think Meta is going to grow a lot more at the time. And if we look at the growth, right? So the P ratio comparison to Google, it's a cheaper stock in terms of the P ratio and also for the PS ratio, right? And if we look at the growth, so for let's look at the revenue. So for the revenue growth is 26% and Google growth is at 16%. So in comparison to other tech stock, Meta is growing a lot, not only for the revenue, but also for the bottom line, the earnings or the profit, right? The profit is growing 20%. Compared to Google, yeah, the profit is not as high. However, Meta got slapped with one-time tax issue that happened last quarter. So essentially, Meta is still a good buy if you take out that one-time tax issue or tax payment that they have to make. The earning per share is going to be a lot higher. And if it does happen, and if the tax thing didn't happen, we wouldn't see this drop over here, and it wouldn't give us a buying opportunity. Nevertheless, if you look at the year to date, right, Google Meta has been growing. What was that, like 26% top top line, right? Yeah, 26% top line and 20% bottom line. So the company has grown 20% plus. However, the stock has been only going up at 4%, 4 or 5%, whatever. So this is why I thought that there is a really great opportunity here, although the stock or the fundamental has going up a lot, 20% plus. However, the stock hasn't gone anywhere. Hey, I hope the video was helpful. I gave you my reasoning why I sold the AMD stock. If you like this video, please hit the like button. I'll see you in the next one.